I'm so confused. I am so confused at Chelsea's transfer window right now because I like it generally. I genuinely do like most of the stuff we've done. We got Lukaku out, signings of Neto and fucking Felix and Adebayoyo is I think that's how you say it. Tosin, Dewsbury Hall I like. You know, you've got all those youngsters that we don't really care about because they'll never play for Chelsea, but you know, they're the big signings and I like all of them. And now I'm sort of getting confused because there's two stories that really, I mean, well, there's one that has been going on for the whole window, and then there's another one that sort of broke yesterday and a little bit today. We've got, so we'll start with the Osimhen one. What is going on? Because I mean, at the start of the window, everyone thought it would be 100 million for Osimhen, end of, and now we're seeing Al Ali in the Saudi league getting bids accepted for 65 million euros, which is 55 odd million pounds, something around there. Half, almost half of the 100 million Napoli originally wanted, because Napoli realised, oh shit, no one wants to pay that. What a surprise. It's obviously no one wants to pay that. He barely played last year. He's a good striker, but he barely played last year. He might be shit. No one's paying 100 million. And so you've got that, and then also Sky Sports today said that Chelsea made a move for Ivan Toney, and now you're going, well, are you going to get Osimhen, or are you going to get Toney, or are you going to get both? Are you going to get neither? And end up with pissing Calvert-Lewin, which is another rumour I've seen, which is less well substantiated. But Jesus, if we end up buying Calvert-Lewin, we've got problems. Like I'm so confused. Are we doing as a sort of, because obviously it's been reported as well that Osimhen doesn't really want to be paid normal amounts of money for playing football. I mean, obviously it's loads of money either way, but he wants like 350k, and I mean that's not on. We're not paying you that. We've got two bastards on nearly that much right now that we're trying to get rid of. Like, we're not paying you that. So are we doing the whole, hey, here's Chelsea going in for Ivan Toney thing to sort of say to Osimhen in the background, like, hey Osimhen, you know we do still kind of want you, but you got to knock them wages down. And are we just hoping that Osimhen's gonna go, oh shit, well, I don't have a place at Napoli. I don't want to play in the Saudi league. Fuck it, I'll drop my wages to go play for Chelsea. Is that a thing? Is that gonna happen? I think Osimhen just wants the bag, man. I think he's just gonna go to Saudi Arabia. I think he just wants 500k a week from Saudi Arabia for 2 years, bang a release clause on it, hoping that somebody in Europe will buy him at the end of that time. And I mean, that's fair. Dude wants the bag, he can go take the bag. But I mean, we're trying to play the mental mind games, which we've done a lot to pretty decent effect for a couple of times as well. We've baited a couple of clubs. We baited Atletico big time earlier on, which I will get onto. But yeah, is that what we're gonna do? I would take either of them at this point. Ivan Toney, a little bit expensive. £50 million is quite a lot for him. If we can maybe negotiate that a bit lower, I'd happily have Toney, and I'd happily have Osimhen for 55 million. Like, I'd take either of them at this point. So just get either of them. And then you've got the one that sort of broke yesterday and today of the Sterling Sancho swap deal thing that hasn't really been fully reported on by like Fabrizio or the other guy that I've forgotten the name of. But it's been well rumoured by a lot of people, and a lot of people are talking about it, and I don't know how I feel about it, because on the one hand you're getting rid of Sterling, who's been terrible for us, massive wages, calm, but on the other hand we're getting another winger. we don't need another winger, especially a winger that really hasn't done anything at Man United. Like, what, Sancho's been poor at Man United. He's been so bad. I mean, he had a poor first season and then sort of got phased out by Eric Ten Hag because he complained that Anthony was playing over him. And then somehow Man United fans made Sancho the bad guy for that, by the way. How are you a dick for complaining that Anthony's playing over you? Like, Sancho's better than Anthony. Like, can we not pretend here? What the fuck is that? But yeah, like I feel like we don't need another winger. We got Palmer, Neto, Madueke, who just scored a hat trick, and Kunku, Mudryk, and Felix. That's the one. I knew I was missing one. And Felix. All six of these players can play on the wing. There's only two of those positions in a game. I suppose Palmer and Kunku. I suppose they can go in the middle, but there's still that's free playing and free on the bench. Two on the bench. Mudryk can go to the reserves. It's actually, when you put it like that, it doesn't sound so bad. but yeah, like I don't think we need another winger, but I would take it if it's what has to be done to get Sterling off the books. If Sancho could sort of lower his wages a bit, because I mean Sancho's already on less than Sterling is. He's only on 250k only. But if we could knock his wages down to like a modest like 150, like if he could take like that's not even halving them. If we could just knock them down, because I mean realistically he doesn't deserve to be getting paid 250k from his last 3 years at United. He doesn't deserve that kind of money. So if we can convince him to sort of knock his wages down a bit, then I feel like this works for us. This works way better for us than it does for United, because even if Sancho doesn't perform that well, he's 24. So you could give him a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then sell him if he's not playing that well. You won't get that much for him, but you'll get some money back for him. On United's half, they can't really do that. Like, I mean, United are the kings of buying players for big money and then just letting them go on a free. Pogba, Van de Beek basically went on a free. It was like 500k. Fucking Varane, like, you know, they love doing it. And I think Sterling is what that would be if they end up with him. Like, I'm not being funny. Sterling hasn't been good for Chelsea at all. At no point has Sterling been good. He's not been worth the signing. He's been terrible, especially last year. First year he was sort of okay. Last year he was god awful the whole time. And he's nearly 30. He turns 30 this season. And it just feels like a terrible deal for Man United. Like, it doesn't feel good for them at all. He is better than Antony and Rashford. He's been better than Rashford recently. Like, at least he tries. But he's been poor. And he's so old. And they're going to end up... Like, what, if they put him on, like, a 3-year contract? They get, what, at the very best, a decent squad player for 3 years, and then he leaves on a free anyway. Like, they're not going to renew a 32-year-old winger's contract. You're not going to renew that contract, are you? No one is. So it feels. I mean, obviously, it's a Chelsea going, hey, we don't want Sterling, you don't want Sancho. Let's just swap them, make something work. And I think Man United will want that just because they really don't want Sancho, and I think that might mean that they just go for it and sort of blindly rush into going for it and take it. And it feels like it feels like such a bad idea for them. But I mean, I'll take it. I'd take having Sancho sit on the bench over Sterling. I know that for fact. I do know that for fact. And then also you've got, for Sterling, personally, you've got he might become the most hated man in English football ever. Ever. Like, Arsenal fans hate Van Persie and Adebayor because they both went to one or two other teams that were sort of top 6 rivals. Liverpool fans, mate, his face will be on dartboards. It already probably was when he sacked Liverpool off to go join Man City. He then gets booed whenever he plays for Man City. He goes on to win multiple league titles, goes to another top 6 club in Chelsea, doesn't do very well there. But that also, him leaving City and staying in England, sort of pisses off quite a few City fans. So now he's got every Liverpool fan that doesn't like him and a solid amount of City fans that don't like him. He's then gone on to have a pretty bad run at Chelsea, which means a lot of Chelsea fans don't like him. And then he goes to United, which means he now has a lot of City fans that don't like him, a lot of Chelsea fans that don't like him, and every single Liverpool fan who's hated him for the last 7, 8 years, now hates him even more, because not only has he left you to go to another big team, he's left to go to the biggest rivals, Man United. The boos when Liverpool play Man United at Anfield If Sterling plays in that game, the boos, I will hear them from my house, and I live in Scotland. They will be nuts. But, I mean, I'll probably do another video at the end of the window, once this is all sort of transpired, of like a general transfer thing for the big 6 teams. But Jesus, what the hell's going on?